And what you'll see is it's going to highlight the changes with a red cloud. It's letting me know, hey, you made some changes here and you made some changes here. These are not permanent. These are temporary clouds just to let you see what's been changed. So we've got the D and the E showing you the old value is F, old value is G, and then reflex pumps was renamed. And then also we went to an 800 and an 800, or went to a 600 from 800. So if these changes are good, we want to accept those. We can accept these one at a time, or we can reject. If this comes back from the engineer and you've got a discrepancy with it, you say, well, I know this isn't right. Well, then you can reject that edit. If you look at them and they're all right, you have an accept all, and that's your quickest way to accept all changes into the drawing and into the data manager. You can also reject all. That's totally up to you what you want to do there. So we want to accept. I want to accept the change here and all the changes in description. So what you're going to notice is this pumps right here is going to say pump when it's done. It's also going to change this 800 to 600, and then the tag information is going to change. This will say D and this will say E. So I'm just going to accept all, and all those changes were automatically made. There's our 100, 101E, 101D, 600 and 600, and then the S was taken off of pumps. So you can see how quickly you can make edits to your drawings using the data manager. Now sometimes you're going to need to do some type of validation, right? Maybe a user has gotten a hold of your drawing and they're not really familiar with P&ID. They don't know that all they have to do is go over here and place a tank. Instead, what they did was they went to Old Faithful and they just went to the line command. I'm just going to draw me a tank in here because this is how I'm used to doing it. And I'll finish this off. And I'll make an arc. So I've got me a tank. Let's turn my O snaps off so I can actually draw here. And I'm going to put a line across and another line across, and this is the symbol for my tank. Yeah, maybe something else. Maybe it's got a little platform, little footing that it's going to sit on. This is the symbol for my tank. Well, you've placed it in, or this other person has placed it in. You've gotten your drawing back. You want to run validation to see if there's any type of base AutoCAD objects like lines, polylines, circles. If they're in there, then that indicates that this is not, or those lines are not intelligent P&ID objects. In other words, that tank is not going to show up in the data manager. You want it to show up in the data manager. It also checks for these types of things: size mismatches, spec mismatches, non-terminating lines, flow direction errors or conflicts, unresolved off-page connectors. So you can have that checked for those types of things, and it'll let you know that, hey, you've got just a regular AutoCAD line in here. You don't have an object, an intelligent P&ID object. So how do we fix this? Well, we can take this standard AutoCAD geometry, select it, and then do a convert to a P&ID object. Well, this is a dome roof tank, so that's what I want to make. And I need to pick an insertion point. If I want to use this again, how do I want to insert it? Well, I want to insert it from this lower left corner. And you see how it changes the equipment color, or changes the color to an equipment layer. It also added it to the list. We're looking at tanks here, dome roof tank, and there's tank dash question mark. If we assign this tag information, there's tank dash question mark, and we can go ahead and plug in a good number for this. So let's go 410, and we'll place the vessel info tag out beside it. So there's tank 410. This is now an intelligent object because it's in our data manager. It can now be added to a report. Let's take this. We also want to include this in our selection. If this is a new symbol, then we want to reuse it, right? So let's save this first. Save the file. And then I can select this and then just drag it in. So now when I need to place another symbol that looks just like this, I can pick it from my tool palette. I can stretch it up, stretch it out, however you want this to look. Put in the tag information. This is 420. And there's tank 420 ready to be used. It's an intelligent P&ID object now. Let's take a look at the project settings. In project settings, you have some general settings that you can create or define, like the company name, the primary contact. You can add other information here, project data information. You can add drawing properties, additional drawing properties, custom drawing properties if you want. You can generate your own reports. Like out of the box, you've got control valve list, document registry, equipment list, instrument list, line list. Well, I created one called My New Company Line List. I'm going to create a new one. We'll call this Equipment List, and I want to create a new one from that equipment list. So this is going to be My New Equipment List. And then I can choose what I want to include or exclude from this report. Maybe I don't need well, I do need the description. Maybe I don't need the supplier, but I do need number and area. I don't need equipment spec or weight. I don't need that. And you can see the items being included and excluded from this final list here. I do want to include the path. Where is this drawing located? And actually I want that to show up second. I want my tag and then the path and then manufacturer. And I can reorder these any way I want just by selecting and moving up and down. If this is okay, this is a good report, I'm ready to select OK, and here's my preview of that report. Tag, path, just like we added. And there's area.